Hey, everybody. Really happy to be here. We're just missing one person up here.
Our lead singer.
You know, we don't just show up and play places uninvited, but I love that. If I can walk into a room like the Bluebird and connect with even 5 or 10 people, that's, to me, better than playing for 100,000 people.
It's obvious the trouble we're in.
I liked performing in the privacy of my own bedroom, but as soon as anybody was around, I didn't love that. And I didn't love it for a really long time. You know, if there'd been like the most likely to be a rock star in the yearbook, that would not have been me.
He says he just happened to be in the neighborhood.
I grew up in a just idyllic time. You know, what was happening musically on TV and on the radio was, you know, it was everything. You turn on Saturday morning TV and there would be the Jackson Family cartoon, and every kid in America was singing along with that stuff, basically thinking that he and his sisters and brothers could be a band, and that was my household. We grew up singing and dancing to American Bandstand. My mom says her earliest memory of me as a child was a 3-year-old singing Petula Clark's Downtown in the back of the station wagon. And I mean, I remember these things, but I just don't ever remember not having music be the thread of my whole life.
The first impression that I had was she was very shy, but I quickly discovered that there was a level of intensity there in terms of her sense of purpose.
I was the person that would go into the practice room and then come out with a big ridge across my forehead from falling asleep on the piano.
She had a real capacity to communicate the essence of music to others.
And I really had to step into that.
We just kind of want to jam some songs here. Should we get started? I think I see her coming from the back of the room. Hello. Oh.
Hi, everybody. I am kind of in between making records. My name's Sheryl. This is Robert. That's Josh. I can see people going, is that Sheryl? Is that her? Is that her in that hat? Would she wear that hat?
You know, she was a little tentative at first because it was obviously her first gig. It was a very short time period that it took her to get from being kind of green, if you will, and not really having any experience to getting to the point of feeling comfortable as a performer. And I think that was the thing that stood out.
I found Kashmir, and they were the main band on campus, and they needed a keyboard player, so I joined the band, and then the girl quit, and they're like, will you go sing? And then that was it. I loved putting on that persona and going out and singing. I liked singing other people's songs, and it was a great way to cut my teeth.
We were really dedicated to recreating the covers and doing them well, and she seemed to have the same work ethic. That work ethic is probably the thing that helped her overcome any lack of confidence that she may have had in the beginning, because in the end, it was, you know, there was none of that.
I loved being able to go out and look at people in the eye and sing songs and feel a connection and feel people having an experience.
No one thought we'd come this far.
I think it really introduced her to the joy and the desire to perform in front of a live audience.
Oh, but look, we've come this far.
After Kashmir, I moved to St. Louis, took a teaching job. I started doing some jingles on the side, some singing commercials.
She showed up
And I just did a double take. She walked into my studio, t-shirt and blue jeans, the proverbial country girl.
It's a good time for the great days. McDonald's.
Doing jingles was an amazing way to learn how to work a mic, how to manipulate your voice in the studio.
She was a natural chameleon. She was very quick to be able to just adapt a different style.
It seemed like a way to get my foot in the door, and it paid me more than 2 years of teaching, which is sad commentary. I decided I would move to LA, I would take my demo tape, I would take my original songs, I would take them to every studio in LA and hopefully get work, which is very naive, but it actually did work. And through one of the recording sessions that I got hired to do, I snuck into an audition for Michael Jackson's Bad Tour as a backup singer, and I wound up getting it. It was very nerve-wracking. I can't say that walking out with him every night was fun. It was always just, it was really nerve-wracking, and then it was over. He is a vocalist, obviously, as well as a dancer, so it's nice to be working with someone who can appreciate your instrument, and he knows exactly what he wants to hear, so. I never felt like I was great or I was doing a great job, and I watch it now and I think, gosh, I'd love to go back and be able to sing now with him, knowing that it's really just about being in your own body and connecting with this person.
They were sound checking one day. I heard this voice singing with a twang, with a little country in it, and I was like, who's that? And I saw Sheryl up there at the mic. I was like, wow, she's a lead singer.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday morning, I can hear it. Sirens warning.
I came home from the Michael Jackson tour, and I played for every record label in town, and they all wanted to give me development deals. Everybody saw me as a pop kind of vixen. I wanted to make rock and roll kind of blue-eyed soul.
Can you make it better for me?
And I ultimately wound up meeting a producer who'd worked with Sting, and he took my tape into A&M, and then I made a record with him.
You know, he was producing Genesis and Sting, and they were complex musical albums. But she was into something different at that time.
So I went into A&M after spending a lot of money and said, will you give me another shot?
Hit it. This ain't no disco. It ain't no country club either. This is LA. All I wanna do is have a bit of fun before I die. She's the man next to me, out of nowhere.
When her first record came out, she had a hit, and things were really starting to percolate. She was very raw on stage.
Out of the gate, she was on fire as a performer. It was always something that I wanted to aspire to do, and I thought she just had it. And she looks cool.
I can't cry anymore.
For me now, I'm much more interested in the connection. That took a minute. I love playing in this room because most of the time everybody's in here really listening, and it's great to look up and see faces and see eyes and make contact. It's great. It's very old school.
At this point in time, she's a fantastic live performer. I think she's crystallized the spontaneity and rawness of her early period with the confidence and sharpness of being super seasoned, having played around the globe for, 2 decades.
I've been long, a long way from here. I put on a poncho, played for mosquitoes, and drank till I was thirsty again. Searching through thrift store jungles.
I just can't believe how blessed I've been to get to play with the people that I have loved. I've stood on stage with people that I never thought would even know my name.
You know, the people in rock and roll that you always think of that are like real icons, she is one of those icons. She has that magnetism.
I promised you I'd never give up if it makes you happy. It can't be that bad. If it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? You get down